It is August 7th, and with that being said, that means we are just 2 weeks out from freshmen and students, I should say, returning to college, and that includes UMKC. So with that being said, I do want to turn over to Tess Martins. She is the Senior Peer Academic Leader for UMKC's PAL program. Tess, thank you so much for joining me here at the live desk, and it's nice to meet you here virtually.
Nice to meet you too.
Alrighty, so let's break it all down. When do students return to UMKC? The date exactly?
The date that classes start is August 21st, that Monday, but freshman students who are living on campus will move in the week before or the weekend before starting on the 17th.
And that goes for freshman students. Okay. So I do just
Yeah.
want to ask you, for freshman students, what should they know before entering college? Your best advice for them?
My best advice for freshman students coming to college for the first time is college is the perfect time to try something new. A lot of students do come to college with experience from high school, maybe some extracurriculars they were really involved with, or maybe their favorite class or their favorite subject. But college is the perfect time to try something brand new that maybe you didn't have the opportunity to try in high school. Us being in the middle of Kansas City, we are in the perfect spot to have a wide variety of opportunities, whether it's career development or service, getting involved with helping your community. So my advice would be to have an open mind that maybe college is the perfect time for you to start a new chapter and try something brand new that you have never tried before. And with that being said, college is also the perfect place to fail and maybe not get it perfect the first time. I personally had that experience just sticking my toes in the water of college just to see what I liked. And it doesn't go perfectly every time, but you're in a community of other people who are also doing college for probably the first time. So you can really bond over that shared experience of, man, I tried this and it didn't go great, but I'm going to take the experience that I had into the next thing that I try. So it will go better every time after that.
I love it. That is some great advice there, Tess. And so, with students going to college, some are going to be traveling far and some may not be too far away from home, but with all of it, there can be homesickness. How can students deal with homesickness? What is your best advice for that?
Yeah, dealing with homesickness is a huge part of just transitioning to college life. I mean, if you're moving out of your parents' house, everything changes when you're on your own and you rely on yourself to keep your own schedule, to wash your own dishes, do your laundry. So, homesickness can be a difficult part of transitioning to college, but I would say to remember that there are other students here with you that might be experiencing that same thing, and you can find community and find a new family support system at college, especially if you're living in the residence halls here. The people on your floor can be great resources just to not be, if you're feeling a little lonely when you're walking to the dining hall, you can get together with some buddies and walk together. So, really just leaning in and finding your support system here and asking for help. There are so many people here that their goal and mission, especially us at the PAL program, is to help students transition to college and feel safe and comfortable in a new environment. So, reaching out and saying that you need help is one of the most important things to do when coming to college. But then also, if you have the means to do so, build in time to go home and visit your family. That's not something to be ashamed of. You don't have to just come to college and never leave. You can go home. I was just home at my parents' house this weekend, spending some quality time with family. So to be able to do that is really important for self-care and keeping a healthy lifestyle. If that's an option for you, is to schedule time to go visit family.
And what I love, Tess, is that you mentioned earlier that with college, you have to just take on the fact that you're going to fail sometimes, but it comes with the experience. So speaking of that, with college comes deadlines as well, and that can add stress and add anxiety to your list that you were not planning to add. But can you speak a little bit more about those deadlines and maybe how to cope with that anxiety that may come with it? Kind of prepare yourself for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and college with all of those deadlines, it's probably maybe not something you experienced in high school. Maybe it was easier for you to keep a schedule. And high school teachers are more hands-on when it comes to making sure you get everything turned in, but college professors probably have three times as many students, so they're not walking with you every step. There's more responsibility on the college students' part to get things turned in on time. So my advice would be to, if you don't already, come up with like a planner system that works for you. There's so many different organization systems nowadays, whether it's a paper planner or an online planner that sends alerts to your email, anything like that. Troubleshoot different things and explore different options and find one that's effective for you. And then Personally, what works best for me is when something comes up on my to-do list, I try not to procrastinate, but if there's manageable chunks that I can get done as soon as it shows up in my inbox or on my to-do list, I try and get it squared away as quickly as possible so I'm not surprised if a deadline is coming up. But all about just breaking things into manageable chunks and finding a way to keep track of those things in a way that works for you.
For sure, and a planner will definitely become your best friend. I learned that throughout the way. And like you mentioned, you just have to just kind of go with the flow and just find your own flow, your own experiences with it. Now, I mentioned that you
Mhm.
work for the PAL program at UMKC. Tell us what you all do for the students that are coming in as incoming freshmen.
Yeah. So the PAL program is a campus-wide peer mentoring program that every incoming freshman and some transfer students will be assigned to a peer academic leader or a PAL. And this PAL is a student at UMKC that has been trained to have a mentorship relationship with these incoming freshmen. And these students, when they meet with their PAL, they can talk about a variety of things. It's really up to the mentor and the student to guide their conversation. But some common things that we walk through with students is transitioning to college, kind of like that homesickness thing we were talking about earlier. Study skills. A lot of college courses call for a totally different type of study skills than these students might previously have built up in high school. We talk about career development, networking on campus, and self care. Self care is a huge part of what we talk about at the PAL program. Just sustaining those habits that will help you and that will last. And ideally, we hope that these students have a different sort of mentorship relationship than maybe one they might have with a professional staff member on campus, whether it be an academic advisor, a professor, or a success coach. These pals that the students are meeting with have been in college recently. They are in college currently, and they might be able to speak more specifically to some of the struggles or experiences that the students go through rather than maybe your professor that's been out of college for 5, 10, or maybe more years and isn't really in tune with the college experience that we're going through in 2023 today.
Yeah, and did you participate in the PAL program at all? I know you are a fourth year student, is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I did have a PAL when I came to school, and I was a freshman in 2020 when most things were locked down, and we did a lot of coursework and studying and most things over Zoom. So to be able to sit down one on one and talk with my pal was extremely formative for me. She helped me with a lot of the questions that I had, and because she was a student, I really felt free and comfortable and safe to ask her anything, even if I felt like maybe it was a silly question or one that she's heard a million times. She was patient with me and answered all my questions. So when I got the invitation to apply to have a job like hers, I there was no question. I definitely wanted to be involved in um, the work that she was doing and helping students to feel comfortable and safe at college and have a resource that they can go to when they need help.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tess, for joining me here at the live desk. This has been very helpful. You're actually taking me back to a lot of the things that I had to learn along the way. But again, like you mentioned, with college, it just comes with experience, and you just have to, you'll fail, and then you'll also succeed in a lot of different situations, and you just have to take it and just go with it. But again, I appreciate you giving us your feedback and some tips on how to cope with homesickness and anxiety and just college in overall. So thank you so much for joining me here at the live desk.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a blast.
Perfect. Well, again, I am Janae Hancock. I am going to leave you all with the shot looking at the Chiefs Stadium right now, Arrowhead, as we take on this Monday. I'll provide you more news updates coming